Hello, Frans and Harjit are here again. There's the Ninja
Hello.
reporters. Hello. And we have the next speaker, the next featured speaker, Michael van Horenbeeck. Michael, you're close to
Welcome.
my home. You're in Belgium. I'm from the
Yes, correct.
Netherlands, and Harjit is still on the other side of the ocean. Um, but welcome as a featured speaker for Workplace Ninjas. For the ones who don't know you, I can. Is that possible? Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
maybe,
that is possible. Yes.
maybe. Who are you?
So first of all, name is Michael. I'm also known by a moniker called Michael Van Hybrid, but that's a legacy that I'm trying to get rid of. But I've been active in the communities for God knows how long, focusing mainly on all things security. And in your day-to-day life, I try and juggle priorities between, home, the collective, the company I run, and community stuff. That's it in a nutshell.
That's
And
great.
that's quite hard sometimes. I know.
Yeah, and I'm not going to mention the M365 security book, which has been a struggle to keep up with. But again, that's a different story for another time.
Uh, Definitely, we will
I like
dive
the
in.
way you plug that in.
Yeah, we will dive
Slide.
into the book somewhat later. Maybe we can do a recording on the summit as well on that. Harjit, what are we asking our speakers?
Yeah. So, Michael, so you're a featured speaker, and congrats on that, by the way. And
Thank you.
so, what can Ninja Summit attendees get out of like anticipate to get out from your talks at the conference? What are the takeaways you want them to have, and what areas are you going to focus on?
So there's a couple of things that are really close to my heart, and some of them are technical. Other stuff are more generalistic. So depending on the type of sessions, because obviously I've submitted a couple of ones, but in general, there's new technology is something that has always caught my attention. Right. So one of the elements that I think is not getting yet sufficient attention on Microsoft related conferences, it's a global secure access, right? And the
Hmm.
reason for that being is the product today, is not ready yet. We all know that there's, it's lacking in compared to some of the competitors in the market, but it is a huge thing that Microsoft is throwing itself into the zero trust network access story. And for me, the sessions I submitted is first of all, make the technology more known to people, right? Talk to them about this. What is this thing? How do you use it? How do you deploy it? But also,
Hmm.
what's the value you can get out of it? How does it kind of fit into the whole ecosystem, and how does it increase your security? Because at the end of the day, this is why we're looking at these types of security solutions. So that is one really important element, which is also why I'm focusing on one of those. A second element that is really important to me is identity security, or identity and access management in general, which is why last year I gave a talk about uh, privileged identity management, the road of privileged identity management, also phishing and all new challenges that people face, and how security operations centers face those challenges with the end users and how to deal with those. Um, Another one that I kind of looked into was, where do we stand 2024, right? It's new year, new challenges, new threats, new technology. Is there anything meaningful to talk about from a security perspective, not just deploying, but also how can we protect ourselves against these things with newer technologies? And yes, zero trust network access is going to add a layer on top of what I mentioned last year. And then
Hmm.
thirdly, technology is technology, but how do you manage security? The longer I'm in IT, the older I get, the more technical history or legacy that you kind of bring with you. And I'm sure that all of you can relate. Not that I'm calling you old, but experienced. Um, I see that people struggle a lot with understanding, what do I need to do? Why do I need to do things? And where do I go from here? Right? What is the right thing to do? Yeah, sure. Everyone understands that an EDR solution is something that basically everyone needs to have these days, but why? And where does it fit into your overall security strategy? So how to get a better handle on security itself is one of the other topics that I'm hoping to talk about.
Right. This is great. Sounds like you're gonna be going pretty deep dive into all aspects of security. I think this is gonna be fabulous. Yeah.
I'll hope so.
It was the last few years that you joined us. Yeah, it was not only last year. I think last year was a bit of a challenge. I know you flew in a bit late, and but if if you are a bit longer in Lucerne, probably you were also 2 years ago in Lucerne, or yeah,
Actually,
or not.
actually, I don't think I was. Unfortunately, again, for a variety of reasons, because that kind of collided with other plans. But good news, I'll be driving this time, so no airplanes to get to Switzerland.
Driving with a car. It's I know from last year there was one of the guys uh, with a Porsche in Germany, and then you can do a lot of cool stuff. But let don't mention that. Why are you joining us in Lucerne on the Workplace Ninja Summit, the conference? Why is it so a good conference to attend from your perspective?
So I'm going to give you here, obviously, a very honest response because people look at the featured speaker and you're like, obviously, you're going to be positive about the conference. But the reason why I'm confident and very positive about the conference is not because I'm speaking there or I get the opportunity or because I know you folks, is because I got to experience firsthand twofold, right? The conference. First of all, being at the conference, looking at the level and the quality of the sessions. Like last year, I finally got time to actually go to sessions, which rarely happens these days. And some of these sessions I was in, I was like, wow, this is really good information. It's like, this is really great. And then I started thinking, when was the last time I was able to attend a conference of that scale? With that much knowledge that delivered such great sessions. I'm not trying to diss other conferences that may be presenting great sessions as well,
Sure.
but I was just surprised, and not just surprised as in I wasn't expecting it, but I was just like flabbergasted, like, wow, this is really great. Up to the point that I told my team this year, whether I am going as a speaker or not, I'm going and I'm bringing people from my own team. Now, that's the second part, because that acknowledges that as a business owner, I see the value of bringing my people there to upskill them in learning stuff from experts. So that's the two elements which for me make Workplace Ninja Summit the conference to go to in Europe, because we don't get that many anymore.
Exactly. And then, on top of that, as you're bringing your people from your organization, they also have networking opportunities that they wouldn't have. So you're gonna learn the technical things, obviously, but then you have opportunities to meet with whether it's Microsoft folks, whether it's MVPs and things like that, and build your network for support and many other aspects. Fantastic.
Agreed.
Yeah. So when you go to conferences like this, like for example at Ninja, do you? I assume I when I do conferences, I also like to sit into sessions that don't pertain to my area of focus. Right? I just want to go and sit in something else, just to learn something completely off track and brand new to me, just to gather more knowledge. You know where I'm going with this? Like,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
I hear you. So so it really kind of depends. I would do that too normally, though. I also enjoy joining sessions for a topic that I presume I know very well, just to
yeah,
get another view on things, to get another pair of eyes on things. Like sometimes I'd build up a theory or a very, a certain approach to something. I'm like, this is how you tackle the problem. But then, going to someone else's session who may present a different story about that or a different view, you kind of open up and you're like, that's interesting. I haven't thought about that.
right.
So there's always something to learn, but obviously, just walking into a random session, if you will, that you're like, hey, I don't know much about this, but let's just sit in and see what happens. And then you're like, wow, this is really cool. The only challenge I have is that afterwards, I'm like, yeah, I still need to follow up on this. And 1 year later, you're like, oh, crap, didn't find the time.
That's
And
right. That's
and
right.
and luckily within the Workplace Ninjas, it's not only workplace, it's also security, it's also identity. So we have a variety of solutions that we cover on our conference. So we are happy, really happy that we have you. So looking forward to what is it, September? In a few months, we're there, and hopefully it's the nicest weather that we have at the moment, so we can. I will be there a few days early, probably, and then we can visit some nice places over there.
Absolutely.
We did a video on that. So if you don't have seen that, have a look on our YouTube channel, Workplace Ninja Summit on YouTube, and look at that video. So, Michael, thanks for joining us now.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And let's meet up in Lucerne in September.
We'll see you soon.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Cheers. Bye-bye.